as we are going to take you through a mesmerizing journey filled with fiction, reality, emotions, and a lot more. As always, we will be picking out some of the most top-rated books and sharing the true essence of its stories, and answering your questions related to the books put up by you. Just to let you know, we won't be. Let's kickstart today's episode.
Okay, guys. So I guess it's now time to dive into the very first book. Um, I'll be talking about the book which a lot of you would have already read about. And this is the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. It's the only thing I can tell about this is that it's just a book which is completely filled with suspense, fantasy, and so many other emotions.
Oh my god, such an epic book. That's super great. So now I am here to introduce you to Attitude is Everything by Jeff Keller. We all know how important our attitude in life is. But do we know how much we can tune in our attitude like Jeff Keller? Okay, stay tuned to know more.
A trip down memory lane and a line of productivity. Interesting choice of books, guys. Today I'll be reviewing The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, a thriller that is filled with a lot of mysterious events and sprinkles of fantasy.
Oh, cool. So I guess all of us have gotten to know a good idea about the three books we'll be talking about. And now it's time to get a better review about the first book of the day, and that is the Divergent series. So the Divergent series is actually a trilogy, which basically follows the life of Beatrice or Tris Pryor. And she's a young girl or a teenager who is literally struggling to find her place in the society. And the society which is described in this book of Divergent series is basically the future version of Chicago, wherein the society or the community is divided into different factions like abnegation, which indicates self sacrifice, then there's amity, which stands for friendship, there's candor, which is for honesty, there's erudite for the love of knowledge, and then there's dauntless, just for all those people who are really brave and courageous. And on the day of appointment or on the day of selection of faction, Tris betrays her own faction, which was abnegation, and she moves into Dauntless because she thinks that her ideologies and her dreams always matched with those of the Dauntless people. And that's the main reason why she took Dauntless. And then the story revolves around all the challenges she faces and all her adventures and all of that.
Okay, so this is pretty great. So actually, Meghna, here I have one doubt. So, what makes this book different from any other fictional fantasy?
Great question, Sharanya. Actually, the fact that this book is just so explanatory and it describes each and every scene in such a prolific manner that you're able to visualize the entire book in the form of a movie. And you're able to get a really good view about each and every character. You're able to actually feel what the character feels because that's how much of a connect we get while reading this book. So, mainly the prolific explanation, the detailing, and the concept which Veronica Roth has introduced through this book, making it easier to visualize and connect with the characters, is the main thing which makes this book different from other fictional fantasies.
Very unique answer, Magna. But I have a question that has prodded a lot of the people from the fandom. Why do you think Triss chose Dauntless over Abnegation on the day of selection?
Okay, this is another question which I have been thinking over a lot as well. Now, as I said, Divergent is this faction. Sorry, Dauntless is this faction where all people just take a step ahead and venture into everything they are totally interested about. And they're very adventurous, they're brave, and they're courageous, and they never fear to do anything. This is one of the things which really, attracted Triss, and she felt that this was something which totally belongs to her and she's going to feel home if she's going to choose the Dauntless faction. So this is one of the main reasons why Triss chose Dauntless over Abnegation. Also, another small thing is during her test, which would decide on which faction she should be going into, she was actually declared as a divergent. That is, she didn't really belong to any one particular faction. She belonged to three different factions, among which Dauntless was one of the factions. So I guess that's one of the main reasons why Triss chose Dauntless over Application.
True, true. To all those fantasy lovers out there, I think you resonate with this book really well because there's a lot of struggle and identity crisis. But as Magna says, there's a strong willed 16-year-old who shows that she's really unique by by standing for what she believes in instead of conforming to society norms.
Okay, so after this one epic piece, I am here to pull you down towards the world of productivity by introducing you Attitude is Everything by Jeff Keller. Okay, so in every point of our life, we will have this tough situation, and two things will matter to us. Number one, the perfect resources we have in hand to support, or the escape way out. But here, Jeff offers a brand new perspective, and this is the right mindset and attitude. So, what Jeff is exactly saying here is that if you have a right attitude, you can tackle any situation. He reinforces just one idea: what the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve.
Wow, Sharanya, we've got something really interesting out there. But having said all of this, can you spell out how actually we can get this happen, or are there some workable steps or techniques we could adopt?
Definitely yes, Meghna. So in this case, what I would exactly say is, so as I've already told, so here our unique author Jeff Keller not only gives out theory, but he also gives out some great methods by which we can achieve the same. Some of these absolutely great like directing mental movies, always thinking big, and especially believing in what you think. And finally, he also advises on how you can write checks for yourself so this way you can totally keep yourself on spot with your
That's
goals.
really that's really cool. Could you explain the part of directing mental movies a bit more?
Sure, Jyoti, you are exactly on point. So, as Albert Einstein has clearly said, imagination is more important than knowledge. So, just take into consideration if you are having a goal of winning a football tournament. So, in this case, so if you just tell yourself that you are going to win a football tournament, definitely you will be inspired. But in one point, if you are actually able to visualize yourself completely winning that entire tournament, imagine how motivated you would be. So this way, definitely, so this power of imagination and the way in which you're creating a mental movie will definitely elevate your inspiration to do more. So this is how exactly how our author says that once you imagine something and once you're very much confined to what you believe, you can definitely achieve whatever your attitude and whatever your goals are.
Oh, wow. So, based on whatever Sharanya has said, I think it's just a great book, especially for all those people who are planning to venture into new things and and who are planning to take up new steps in life. Because this book is really a very optimistic one, which gives us a lot of positive vibes throughout. And I think the main aim or the main goal of this book is to basically motivate people to never stop trying. And that is something very, very important, especially in the 21st century, with so much competition out there. And also, from what Saranya said, I think this book is pretty fast paced. You'll be able to get a lot of new perspectives and how to set your attitude right. And it's definitely going to help you see new possibilities and opportunities. So, definitely a book which all of us should try out.
Definitely, Meghna. Shania has this, unique way of bringing all the concepts that you admire into a different light. And it's really
Exactly.
interesting how she explains the concepts in each productive book that makes you want to go and pick it up from the bookstore and see what's so different about that one book that you have to read to change your life. With
True,
that being
true.
said, we'll move on to my book, which is The Invisible Life by Addie LaRue. Um, so this book follows a girl named Addie who's from the 16th century, and on a whim to not get married and wanting to be independent, she gives up her life to the spirit of the dark, who's later known as love. And she gains immortality with a price. Nobody would remember her existence after seeing her once. Until one fine day, when she meets a man in a bookstore named Henry, who remembers her from the first time they met each other.
Okay, so this is something like a very unique and a bit of an oddball thing, which I would say. Okay, so now Jyoti, I just have a question for you. So, how would you feel about being immortal for a very long period of time?
I'm not the greatest fan about immortality in general. It's a great prospect to think about, but defying it against nature isn't something that I think is very ideal. Any thoughts, Meghna?
Oh, yeah, I totally agree to you, Jyoti, because nature has some rules, and I don't think it's a very good idea to defy them because you're born and one day eventually you need to die, right? So, okay, on that note, I have something else popping up in my mind. So, this is, I guess, the first book that you've read of V.E. Schwab. So, what actually attracted you to the work of this author, and what makes this book actually different from the other books of other authors?
Yes, this is the first book that I've read by B. Schwab. But she took 10 years to write this particular book and explains the efforts that she took through her style and making it into a brilliant masterpiece. And what I like the most about this book is that she makes the spotlight shine on the main character, but also the other characters do get a say. And the flow is always, very fast paced. And I can read like more of her books in the future. That's like a great possibility.
Oh, wow, 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 guys. Okay, so actually, I've never read anything like this before, but now, after hearing all these, I really wanted to. And especially this efforts the author has actually put in 10 years to write one single book. Oh my god, okay. So, this tale of magical realism covered a lot of territory monsters, demons, mythological gods, immortality, and all while remaining grounded in a story of our protagonist, a 23-year-old French woman born in the 17th century. My god.
Yeah, that is truly breathtaking. Well, guys, I guess we have come to the very end of this show. We've reviewed three books in total today, and I guess these were some of the top rated books, and most of them were all time favorites for a lot of us. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this show and have gotten quite a good idea about the different books we gave reviews about this season. So until next time, it's me, Meghna.
Jyoti,
And Saranya signing off until next time. So keep smiling, stay happy, and keep listening to Voice It, Feel the Rhythm.